Hi children, hello and welcome. I hope you are all having a great day. Now that the weather is getting warmer, we are going to talk about something that we're seeing a lot lately out in nature. You might be seeing it in your front yard, your backyard, your garden. Can you think of what we're going to talk about? It begins with the sound flowers. We are going to talk about flowers. Why do we see so many flowers around the springtime? We are going to talk about why in just a moment. But before we start, let's look at some pictures of some flowers that we already seen before, that we've either seen or grow in our garden. This is a flower. This is called a sunflower. It's beautiful, bright flower that grows from the ground, very high in the sky. We have a hibiscus flower. This hibiscus flower is bright red with yellow and a little bit of white. This is called a rose. A rose is also a flower that grows from bushes, that grows from a very specific bush. This is a tulip. Tulips are very, very precious. They come in lots of colors. And we have lilies. Lilies also come in other colors. They come in yellow and orange, red and pink. These are all different kind of flowers. Now, they all look very different, but they all have one thing in common. Actually, they have many things in common, but they all have a very important job. They're fun to look at and they smell great, but they have an important job, and that is to attract animals to help them grow. How do they do that? Well, flowers' job is to use its bright colors to attract animals to make new plants. What does that mean? Attract means to bring in. So, flowers have these beautiful bright colors to attract bees and butterflies and ants to help them grow. And how do they do that? Well, some animals like butterflies, bees, and birds, they move a powdery thing inside the flowers called pollen. Can you say pollen? Pollen. We see pollen everywhere. It's all over our cars, by our windows. It is everywhere, and it even makes us sneeze because that yellow powdery substance goes into our nasal cavities and our noses, achoo, and we're constantly sneezing. But pollen is very important, and pollen is really important for the flowers to grow. And animals like bees and butterflies move that powdery stuff called pollen from one flower to another. And I will show you. Insects like bees, butterflies, they go from one flower to another. They eat the nectar, the sweet nectar, like this bee's doing. And while he's eating, all the pollen that's inside the flower gets stuck on his body. Then when the bee goes to another flower, it's spreading the pollen everywhere. And that is how flowers grow. So the important job of a flower is to attract these animals that spread pollen. Animals that spread pollen are called pollinators because they spread pollen. Birds, butterflies, ants, even bats are called pollinators. And we're going to read a book called Insects Visit Flowers, and we're going to find out how insects help flowers grow. I'm going to come a little closer to you. Insect visits flowers. A butterfly has landed on a flower. It is searching for nectar, a sweet liquid in the flower's center. The butterfly is a yellow tiger swallowtail. Nectar is its main food. The butterfly pushes its long tongue deep into the flower to drink. Ants and bees come to flowers to get nectar too. These insects don't know it, but they help the plants that they visit. As the insects search for food, they get dusted with powdery yellow pollen. They carry grains of pollen from one flower to the next. This allows the flowers to form fruits and seeds. A flower is a bee magnet. Its scent and color attracts bees and other insects. To a bee, flowers glow with colors that you cannot see. A red flower may seem blue or purple to a bee. The flower looks different to the bee because the bee can see ultraviolet light. People cannot see this type of light. A bumblebee gathers pollen as well as nectar when it visits flowers. The bee collects nectar in its crop, near its stomach. It collects pollen on its hind legs. Look at all that pollen. Bushy hairs on each hind leg form a sort of pollen basket. When the pollen baskets are full, the bee flies back to its nest. At the nest, the bumblebee shares the nectar and pollen with other members of its colony. Bees store extra pollen and nectar in little wax chambers called honey pots. This stored food is very important. It will be eaten by young bees as they develop into adults. The striped cucumber beetle is not interested in pollen or nectar. It comes to eat the petals of the flower. It has already chewed away big sections of the petals. Insects such as the striped cucumber beetle do not help plants. If these insects eat a plant's flowers, the plant will not be able to grow seeds. This insect is hiding among some goldenrod flowers. It is an ambush bug. To this insect, flowers are hunting ground. The ambush bug preys on other insects. When a fly or a beetle or some other insect visit the goldenrod, the ambush bug strikes, and in an instant, the bug has caught its dinner. So, flowers have a lot of important jobs actually. One is to use its beautiful bright colors to attract other animals to spread pollen everywhere. And what do we call those animals that spread pollen? Like the bumblebees and birds and butterflies, they're called pollinators. So flowers have an important job. They use their bright colors to attract the pollinators to spread pollen everywhere. Flowers also serve as a hunting ground. This animal called the ambush bug uses flowers to hide and ambush other insects that they want to eat. And flowers also serve as a food. The petals of this flower serve as a food for the striped cucumber beetle. What do you think the most important job of the flower is? I think the most important job of the flower is to spread pollen everywhere using the pollinators so we can get more flowers, right? I hope you enjoyed this lesson on our flowers and what their important job is. Next, we're going to talk about the parts of a flower. Bye!